traición, qué rico mami. Pero en cosas del amor muchos fallaban. No había nada, mi amor, algo esperaba de tu mirada. Perdidos, sé lo que siento, pero tú no. Nos entendemos haciendo el amor. No hay nada más que eso, estamos perdidos, perdidos. Y yo no sé ya, si fue algo más que el placer, si me amaste alguna vez, yeah, o si fuiste mi mujer. Por lo que yo he visto y lo que te gusta, amor, tu vida yo no voy a hacer. Dame una noche, te voy a demostrar que soy el pecado que amas con
strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. Is that not the truth or what? It does not matter who the host is, who this host is, who that host is, all that traditional stuff that you would normally say. Anyways, today is Tuesday, March the 22nd of 2022, day 81st of the year, and only 284 days remaining. I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods, and you did everything fantastically that you wanted to do in the overnight. Anyways, so we're here in our studios in Orlando, and we are coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do things at.
Radio.
Oh, yes, doing our thing at RadioBig.fm. Always a fun time as we're able to do so and do all those things, so don't worry about that. So thanks for hanging out yesterday and doing the things that you get to do. So if you're kind of new here, let me explain. If you want to interact with the show, all you have to do is go to callinradio.com. You put that in any web browser, and that will get you moving and grooving and doing all the things that you probably do and do not want to do. As we are talking and we get to hang and all that fun stuff, so don't worry about that. So callinradio.com, that will get you over there. The other side of the equation is we are a show that talks about news stories, and we talk about things that are going on inside of the world of the news. It makes some people happy. It makes some people mad. I get it. It kind of goes all over the place. It's okay. We get it. It's no problem with us whatsoever. So anyways, that's what happens on that particular portion. But what we normally start off with is talking about the things that happen in the overnight. So let's do that real quick. Trending yesterday, Twitter users shared their reaction on the news that a Boeing 737 carrying 132 people crashed in China. No word on what led to the crash. Brown Jackson was trending yesterday at Supreme Court as the confirmation hearing of the nominee took place on Monday. Social media users celebrated World Down Syndrome Day by advocating for pro-life. Also yesterday was hashtag World Poetry Day, was Monday. Twitter users honored the day by sharing some of their favorite poems and poets. Urban Meyer also landed on Twitter's top 10 trends yesterday after an article came out calling the fact that the former NFL coach did not know several of the league's big name players. Does that matter? I don't know. What else do we have? Hashtag bad sequels made it yesterday was trending on Monday. Tweets included The Hunt for Red December, Titanic 2, The Flintstones Meet, The Baritones, Fast Times at Pillow High, My Cousin Rudy, and Raiders of the Lost Fart. So there you go. That was what was hitting the sequence of events yesterday. So it is Tuesday, so we normally talk about what movies, listen to me, what music is hitting the charts. So let's get to the top to the bottom to the top. Let's see. According to iTunes, the number 5 spot was Walker Hayes with AA. At number 4 was Kevin Gates with Thinking with My Dick. And number 3 was Elton John and Dua Lipa with Cold Heart. And number 2 was Cody Johnson, Till You Can't. And at the number 1 spot was Carrie Underwood with Ghost Story. According to Spotify, at the number 5 spot was Lil Nas X with That's What I Want. At number 4 was Megan Thee Stallion and Dua Lipa with Sweetest Pie. At number 3 was Justin Bieber with Ghost. At number 2 with Glass Animals with Heat Wave. And at the number 1 spot was Camila Cabello. Yeah, Camila Cabello with featuring Ed Sheeran with Bam Bam. So there you go. That's what was going on inside of the world of música, if you do care to know those things. So let's do this. Let's talk about some safety. Let's talk about some news. Let's talk about both combined, and then we'll go from there. I think that's the plan for right now. So let's bring in our friends to let us know what is going on inside of the world of the news, and then we'll just take it from there.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. The president of Ukraine says he's ready to discuss a deal to end the Russian invasion. NBC's Richard Engel reports from Kyiv on this 27th day of fighting.
The Ukrainian capital is in a total lockdown. A blanket curfew is in effect. And Ukraine's President Zelensky is telling people not to be afraid of the air raid sirens, but to get used to them.
Vladimir Zelensky gave a TV interview last night confirming he would agree not to try and join NATO in exchange for a ceasefire. He said he's willing to negotiate with Russia's leader, but again warned if talks fail, the fighting could lead to another world war. 1 person is dead and at least 7 people are injured after storms laced with tornadoes swept along the Red River Monday evening on the Texas-Oklahoma state line. And damage is widespread in Williamson County, Texas, just northeast of Austin, after a tornado hit last night, causing damage from the towns of Round Rock to Granger. Williamson County Judge Bill Gravel says teams have been surveying the damage.
Sheriff's deputies have combed through most of the eastern part of Williamson County, literally visually inspecting that. We've had Starflight that has been here that has flown a grid pattern to help us get some overviews.
Gravel says many homes and buildings were damaged, but they won't know the full scope of the damage until later today. It's day 2 of confirmation hearings for the first black woman nominated to the Supreme Court. Questioning begins this morning and will continue tomorrow for Ketanji Brown Jackson. China's worst air disaster in more than a decade is unfolding right now. A plane crashed into the mountains yesterday with 132 people on board. Tom Costello with more.
Cruising at 29,000 feet, it suddenly went into a very steep nosedive, plunging 21,000 feet in just over 1 minute. At 7,400 feet, it briefly climbed, then dove again. Terrifying for anyone on board.
So far, no survivors have been found. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Chinese state media says no survivors have been found as searches continue amongst the wreckage of a jet that crashed on Monday. Ukraine's president says any deal reached in peace talks with Russia would have to be put to a referendum. UK debt interest payments soared to record highs for February, according to the latest data from the ONS, and 2 women have died after an attack at a school in Malmö in Sweden.
Cleanup efforts are underway after a freight train derailed in Colton, California. This woman says it happened just 15 feet from her backyard.
My kids came and, hey, so we went outside and we looked, and when we looked, everything was right in our backyard.
13 train cars and 3 locomotives derailed yesterday morning. A lumber car caught fire, but firefighters quickly doused the flames. The train crew escaped injury, but a contractor who was helping with the cleanup efforts was hurt and taken to a hospital. The cause of the derailment is a mystery. Some Disney workers are planning a walkout today. They're calling for the company to increase support for LGBTQ employees. The move comes after Disney initially stayed silent on a Florida parenting bill that bans schools from talking about sexual orientation or gender identity in certain grade levels. NASA is revealing an out-of-the-world milestone. Trey Thomas reports.
There are now more than 5,000 planets beyond our solar system. Astronomers just added 65 more, but believe the real number is in the billions. They say some are rocky worlds like Earth, although just 4%. 30% are gas giants, and the rest are either considered super-Earths or mini-Neptunes. I'm Trey Thomas.
A new report from The Athletic is revealing more details of Urban Meyer's short time as head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's the team's bad record, of course, with the story insinuating Meyer, a former college coach, wasn't very familiar with players around the NFL. He also reportedly threatened the team and warned they couldn't get jobs paying more than $15 an hour if he cut them. He also apparently made a player cry and berated and belittled coaches in front of players. Dolly Parton and James Patterson's new novel, Run, Rose, Run, is being turned into a feature film. The 76-year-old country icon will star in Hello Sunshine's adaptation of the thriller. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, Well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. There you go. It is currently, 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging. Wow, this is looking a lot darker than what it normally does. What the hell is going on there? We need to do something to change that out. So anyways, let's start talking about some other things. Oh, these things are annoying me. Annoying me today. I'm not liking them. We're going old school. Going old school here. Anyway, so a lot of stuff going on this lovely day as we are hanging out today on this lovely Tuesday. So do you have anything planned out, ready to go, and all that kind of fun stuff? I would love to hear some more about it because it's always important to take a gander, to take a listen. Let's change this out because what happens is when I get annoyed with seeing certain things, I'm going to mention it, and of course, people are like, why are you complaining? I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you what's going on. So let's change. Let's go with nature. Let's go with nature for a moment. Yeah, we'll just go into the universe. Okay, so a lot of stuff going on. So what are you doing today? Anything fun? Anything that you want to talk about? Anything that you want to be partially braggalicious about? I mean, those things are okay from time to time to talk about for sure. Anyway, so let's get into the world of the news and talk about all that kind of fun stuff that is going on. So taking it from the very top, of course, important information. States are taking action against gas prices. Some states are temporarily suspending their gas tax, and others may follow. Mike Bowers has more information.
With today's national average, according to AAA, sitting at $4.24 per gallon of gas, lawmakers in California, which have the highest gas tax in the country at 51 cents per gallon, are proposing a $400 gas tax rebate. Lawmakers say the checks going out to Californians would cover the cost of the current gas tax for a full year for most drivers. Other state leaders, including Governor Gretchen Whitmer, have called for suspending gas taxes. Last week, Governor Brian Kemp in Georgia signed a bill temporarily halting the state's gas tax through the end of May. And Maryland, the first state to pass a gas tax holiday for 30 days, theirs ends on April 16th. I'm Mike Bauer.
Okay, thank you, Michael Bauer, for that one, sharing what's going on. What do you think when you hear some stuff like that? What's the thought process right away? Do you like the info of potentially the gas tax going away? Of course, it's going to vary depending on where you are located in this lovely planet of ours, because that's going to be the other side of the whole thing as well. So let's just make sure that we're very clear on when we're talking about this, opposed to this being some assumption that everything is good or moving or changing depending on where you're at, because as you know, these things vary significantly just depending on where you are located. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this world of ours as we are talking, as it was mentioned, but we'll talk a little bit more about it. Tornadoes kill one. Injuries are at least 7, according to the Red River section. One person is dead and at least 7 people are injured after storms laced with tornadoes swept upon the Red River on Monday evening in the Texas-Oklahoma state line.
I want everybody across the entire state that's going through this to know the state of Texas is going to be with you every step of the way.
Okay, that's Republican Governor Greg Abbott of Texas. Authority in the Lone Star State confirmed that at least one person was killed in Grayson County, and there was damage reported near towns of Gordonville and Sherwood shores. Schools are closed today in Kingston, Texas, after the storms knocked out the power to thousands of homes and businesses. So some things to think about. In talking a little bit more about the same thing, Texas restaurants employees are seeking shelter during the storm when the tornado hit down in the town of Round Rock, which is right outskirts of Austin, Texas. Last night, employees at Chili's restaurants did what they could to ride out the storm.
So we told all the customers to run to the back, get to the kitchen,
where the safest area would be away from all the windows. And then once it calmed down, we came outside to check out all the damage.
The roof of the restaurant was damaged, and some of the cars in the parking lot were overturned, but no one was injured. The Chili's restaurant employees say that they were shocked by the damage.
Whenever we came back out here, trees were everywhere. My car was flipped over in the middle, but everything was just damaged. Like the middle part of the highway, like one of the rails was on it.
The Chili's restaurant employee says she couldn't believe what happened.
Honestly, I didn't know what to think. It was just unbelievable.
The Chili's restaurant employee rode out the storm in the restaurant while her car was in the parking lot that was also flipped.
I have a family I love, and I want to see every day. So just thankful I wasn't in there.
Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of there as we are speaking and moving and grooving and everything along those lines. So there you go. A lot of stuff there. We are going to continue on talking about some other things that are going on inside of this world of ours. It is 21 minutes past the top of the hour. A unique truck modification is now against the law in Virginia. A new law in Virginia prohibits unusual trucks modification. Kathy White explains.
Virginia leaders are trying to avoid lives being lost by a dangerous truck modification. It's called the Carolina Squat, where vehicles sit significantly higher in the front than in the back. Governor Glenn Youngkin signed the bill yesterday that bans the design. He was joined by the family of a 27-year-old father who was killed last month in a crash with a truck that had the Carolina Squat modifications. No vehicle may now have a front bumper that is more than 4 inches higher than the back bumper. I'm Kathy White.
Okay, thank you, Kathy, for that information. I think it's important for you to let us know exactly what's going on, so thank you. So there you go. What else do we have going on? Let's talk about this. New York Russian spies, Congresswoman spies are living in the Bronx apartment building. New York Congressman Richie Torres says there could be Russian spies in the Bronx building. Noam Leedon has more information.
Congressman Torres is worried that Russian spies are hiding in plain sight inside a 20-story Riverdale apartment complex that lots of Russian officials call home. He says the building could be used for potential Russian espionage operations. The Bronx congressman says the building has always been shrouded in secrecy, and he says it's time to see exactly what's going on inside. Noam Laden, NBC News Radio, New York.
So what do you think about that? Do you think there's a possibility of something along those lines going on as we are talking? I mean, I think at this point anything's possible. We've kind of learned this over the last little bit, that we can talk about anything and do a little bit about anything and find out that some of these things are a little bit more realistic than what we thought. Think about that for a moment. I don't think I'm speaking off kilter here. I don't think I'm saying anything that anybody would be amazingly surprised about either as I say that. Just think about it. Just some things that are going on inside of this timeline of our life is just the way that it goes. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this world as we are talking. So listen to this real quick. Governor Pitzker is launching an overdose action plan for Illinois. The governor said that the plan is designed to combat opioid epidemic in the state.
In Illinois, the number of opioid overdose deaths in 2020 increased 33% compared to 2019.
That means that nearly 3,000 Illinois residents died of opioid overdoses in 2020, the deadliest overdose year on record for the state. The plan will be to a partnership to provide mental health and recovery services to Chicago and other areas affected by opioids. So some things to think about as we are talking. Anyways, I think it's time now to bring in some Johnny Smalls to let him know for him to let us know exactly what's going on inside of the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. Equity started the week on solid footing but slipped late in the day on Monday following comments from Fed Chief Jerome Powell. Mr. Powell says inflation is way too high and the Fed will take steps to address it, including a 50 basis point hike. That could come at the next meeting. As welcome as the news is to inflation watchers, it's confusing what exactly changed in the 5 days since the last FOMC meeting. Regardless, the key takeaway is the FOMC is going to act more aggressively than the market is expecting, and that could spark a recession before inflation comes back into control. This week could be a tough one for the market. There are few economic or earnings releases of importance and plenty of geopolitical and inflation risk in the air. The price of West Texas Intermediate, for example, shot up by 7% Monday to over $112 per barrel, and it looks like it will head back up to the 130 level and possibly set a new high. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know exactly what is going on inside of this lovely world of ours, because you never know around here what could be going on. I mean, you know that, I know that, all that kind of fun stuff that we do talk about. Anyways, let's look at some other things that are going on inside of this lovely world of ours, because we have a whole plethora of information to cover this morning as we are talking and doing the things that we get to do. Anyways, so taking a look at some of the other sides of the equation, some of the other sides of things to talk about. Do we want to talk? I think we feel a little swampy today. I'm going to be honest. I feel like we're talking a lot about the swamp. So let's talk about this. Trump U.S. Should send nuclear submarines against Russian forces attacking Ukraine. Former President Donald Trump says that the U.S. should send nuclear-armed submarines to threaten Russian forces attacking Ukraine. In an interview yesterday with Fox Business, Trump said that if he were president, that he'd tell Russia, Vladimir Putin, that we'll be coasting back and forth up and down the coast.
I listened to him constantly using the N-word. That's the N-word. And he's constantly using it, the nuclear word. And we never we say, oh, he's a nuclear power. But we're a greater nuclear power. We have the greatest submarines in the world.
Russia's invasion of the Ukraine is nearing a month mark, with thousands already dead and millions of refugees forced to flee their home. So what do you think about this as you take a listen here? As you take a gander of what I have to say, opposed to it just being a conversation piece of something in general. I mean, I'm just asking the question, not trying to start controversy, even though that I know controversy does create cash, because we've talked about it several times on this show. On controversy does create cash. It's kind of the way that it goes. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things inside of this lovely, because that's going to be important for what we're doing. What else do we have going on? Did you hear about this? I mean, I guess being in Florida, we had to talk about it. Ultra Miami 2022 is back. Miami is once again playing the host of the EDM Lovers Ultra Music Festival. Natalia Rodriguez has more information.
The Ultra Music Festival returns to Bayfront Park in South Florida this weekend after a 2-year pandemic-related absence. Over 150,000 electronic music fans are expected from around the world for the 3-day concert. Ticket prices for Ultra Miami 2022 start at $586 for a 1-day pass. Performers include Tiesto and Martin Garrix, Armin van Buuren, Afrojack, David Guetta, DJ Snake, and Hardwell. Heavy police and security expected with spring break and other big draw events in the area, including a Miami Heat game. Natalie Rodriguez, Miami.
Hold on, another big draw during this time frame is a Miami Heat game. Is that really what we're going to go with for that? I mean, that's kind of an interesting one. So starting off prices for the tickets is $500. That was the first thing. And then followed up by saying the information that after that, when you start taking a look around and doing all that kind of fun stuff, you have to go, okay, so this is being one thing. And then afterwards, if you want to do something else, it could be a little bit more money. So if 1-day ticket is 500 smackers, how much is it for a 2-day? And is it a 3-day event? That's what I want to know. I mean, how are you feeling about concerts? Are you doing them yet? Are you contemplating? Are you going? Are you saying yes, no, maybe so? I don't know. Just some things. I mean, that's going to be the thought process of people right now going, hey, there's a lot of stuff going on inside of this. Anyways, let's talk about some other things. The Iowa House drafting a budget bill that includes a new workforce grant program. The Iowa House is drafting a version of that budget bill, which will feature new workplace grant programs.
What you'll see in our bill is $12 million. Half of that, $6 million of that, will be dedicated to scholarships that will go to the students that enter into those programs for the teaching. And then you also have $6 million pool of money for scholarships for high demand jobs.
Let's see. Speaker Pat Gracely says that he and the program scholarships will appear across Iowa Public University, specifically in teaching and other fields of high need. The $12 million program does not reflect a change in the budget of Iowa Board regents. They will see no increase in their budget for the third consecutive year. Speaker Pat Gracey says the program will fill high need jobs by creating scholarships in Iowa public universities.
We've been working with community colleges for years, and we look at this as kind of the future of filling those high demand jobs.
Pat says that the program will solve the current workforce shortage, but it will also be a potential for future workforce shortages as well.
Whether it's today or long term, we need to be working closer together with higher education to try to help address this.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of there for sure. Anyways, I think we're close enough to it. It is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, and I think it's time to do that thing that I like to call our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So let's talk about it. Let's do this today. Let's do all these fun things that we don't get to say. Now, I don't know. For some reason, I have been blessed in being able to hang out in rooms and in places and be involved in conversations that I think that I should have never, ever, 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 ever had the chance to be involved in. I'm not going to lie here. There's sometimes that I am sitting in places that I'm like, if I, as a kid, would have thought about this in the future, about how my future self would be hanging here and doing these other things, I would be like, there's no way that this is ever going to happen. But fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, I have been blessed to be able to do some strange things in my life, and I like it. That's the good part. So let's talk about this. Imagine all of a sudden, someone sits with you and they tell you the following thing. I was told by my current employer that I am going to be fired within a year. And here's the reason why. Now, just imagine that. That is the start of the conversation. There is no different. There is no other thing coming about. That is how the convo starts. I was pulled to the side to be told that I am going to be fired within a year. And this is what, not my direct manager, but this is what the C-suite people from the organization told me. Now, that's slightly different than most places. Think about it for a moment. Think about that conversation. Think about how that would come about. So let me give you a little bit more of, context when it comes to this. The person that I'm speaking with turns around and says, this is part of the convo on why I want to talk to you. And what had happened was their leading and lagging indicators had went up compared to what they had been the previous year. And then the following year, they remained the same. They didn't go up. They didn't go down. They were still about the same number. And it was 80. And it wasn't a huge company, and it wasn't a small company, but it was 80. So now the reportables are hitting at 80. So now the gentleman is told that he's going to be fired if these numbers do not improve within a year. Now, here's my question. Do you think that is going to encourage people to be safer, knowing that someone is potentially going to be fired because their reportable number is not where the company wants to see it? I mean, I get to an extent that when you do that from a selling perspective, when you do that of you have to garner more sales and this is how you are going to succeed and blah, 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 I guess I can understand that if you like the pressure of numbers. But I just don't understand on how it comes to the world of safety that is something that you can talk about. Or that you can sit back as an organization and say, oh, we had no injuries this week, so that means we're safe. That's not really the case in most places. I mean, when you think about it, oftenly, or often, people don't report stuff. People don't report things because they think that it's not important to the data set or the data set, depending where you're at. So how do you measure these things? How do you feel that all of a sudden someone has told you that you're going to be outed because of some number sequence that you can't control? Listen, when you go through this journey and you want things to change and you want things to be different, there is going to be a period of time that numbers are going to skyrocket, good, bad, or indifferent. And I think sometimes people have a hard time understanding that. And the reason behind it is because most of the times there is some kind of metric tied into it. And what do I mean when I say metric? I'm talking about someone is making some kind of a bonus off of it. Someone is making X, Y, or Z off of it. Let's just be realistic. It's the way the story goes. So as you sit there for a moment and think about this, what comes to mind? Do you struggle with this? Is this something that you have a hard time understanding? Because think about it. The pressure of numbers is now on you. The pressure of doing something that was different is now on you. Is it the right way to go about it? I am going to say, and I'm of course going to be biased in some people's point of view, that is the incorrect way of going about it. Threatening someone's job because you're looking for some numbers and thinking that that's going to make you safer is not the way of doing it. Now, here's the problem that we run into, though. Because people don't see some kind of movement one way or the other, they might have the assumption right away that, oh, you're just a slacker and you don't want to do shit. And that's not necessarily the case. Maybe you're just seeing people report more and more incidents now because they're feeling a little bit more comfortable with how the things are being ran compared to how they were before. That's something to think about. So if you're in an organization that they told you that if your numbers don't improve within a year, that you're going to be outed, what would you do? Do you focus on improving what they're looking for, or do you start looking for a new job? That's something to think about. And at some point, either regardless of which way you go, how would you explain it to them on what's going to be better for the organization? There's a lot of things there that there still need to be unpacked. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
someone being bullied online, you can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hay que ser claro lo que quieres beber. Ya pasó tu primavera y el amor que se fue, pero las ganas de darle aumentan cada vez. Perdidos, sé lo que siento, pero tú no. Nos entendemos haciendo el amor. No hay nada más que eso, estamos perdidos. Yo te resumo en el desayuno. Éramos pares, no éramos humo ni un te amo. Solo había sexo, nada cariño, solo pretextos. Estaría fácil si lo sabría y no llenaras de fantasía.
Okay, there you go. 42 minutes past the top of the hour. That is Perdidos by Cushy, Ballpoint, and Nico Regifo. The song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Thank you to Cushy for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Always a good time. So there you go. Let's bring that down for a moment. Okay, let's bring it down for sure. Anyways, to continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this lovely, lovely world. Remember, you can go into callinradio.com and talk about this. By the way, before I forget, even though I normally don't cross pro, but I will do this here just to talk about it. If you have been listening to the Jay Allen Show, not the Jay Allen in the Morning Show, but the Jay Allen Show. Last week was episode 400, so that means that today's 401. If you are interested in hanging out at safetyfmplus.com, you're more than welcome on doing so. To sign up for it, we are giving you a 30-day free trial. If you want to give it a whirl, see what's all about inside of there. All you have to do is go into, when you're checking out, put in code 400, and that will get you zoomed through the whole process in case you're interested. So go to Safety FM Plus, and that's PLUS.com, and that will get you to go skedaddling right through that thing if you're so inclined to do so. Anyways, let me tell you the most important thing that I'm going to tell you all day, and that's not a doubt. That's a guarantee. Let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local community whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That is 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. That will get you moving and grooving. You never know when this information might be important. So it could be used for you. It could be used for somebody that you know. It could be used for somebody that you love. You never know on when this could be crucial information on what is going on. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this lovely world of ours, because that's what we do around here. We talk a little bit about everything. Let's talk about work jerks, even though the main story seemed like we were talking a little bit about that. The relationship with you and your coworkers are some of the most important and complicated ones that you'll ever experience. And of course, a bad relationship with a colleague can make you dread going to work or to the office. So listen up, and don't be one of these quality logo products in the U.S. surveyed almost 2,000 employees to determine the most annoying habits of coworkers. The top 3 in order are interrupting, taking credit for someone else's work, or oversharing. Some other things finding in the survey was that 90% of people have a coworker who annoys them. 57% of people have quit or considered quitting because of irritating coworkers, and 55% of those work from home still become annoyed with coworkers several times a week. For remote workers, their top 10 peeve include the responses to emails or instant messages, excessive background noise on calls, and eating on camera. While for every one of those, the different coworkers' face immediately came to mind. And guess what? If you don't have an irritating coworker, I got some bad news for you. That means that more than likely that person is definitely you.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just sharing the information as I get it, my friends. That is for sure. Okay, is it hot under here, or is it just me? As the world continues to stress about whether or not it should be wearing a mask, the results of the recent study that just might convince many of us to keep strapping them on. Wearing a mask makes you more attractive, according to a new study of Cardiff University School of Psychology in the UK. Typical blue medical masks were associated with being the most attractive, and cloth masks came in a close second, still making face appear significantly more attractive. In the study, female participants viewed 4 photos of men with medical masks, a cloth mask, a book covering half of his face, and no covering. Medical mask came in on the top, with cloth mask coming in second, no covering coming in last. So you're telling me a book really outranked people? The researchers say that the results suggest that covering the bottom half of your face in any way, whether you are hot or not, increases the attractiveness. That means that the results aren't necessarily about the thing's unattractive qualities. It could also be about covering the bottom half of your face, bringing certain allure of a sense of mystery. Masks also force attention to your eyes and hair, or it can come into an engaging facial features, as the study noted. I have to agree, wearing a mask makes me feel hot, literally. I know wearing masks makes me more attractive by covering my breath alone, so there you go. That's something to think about.
Duh.
So maybe the Batman has it all wrong. Maybe he needs to be covering the top half and not the bottom half, as he has been doing throughout the years. I don't know. Just figured that we should probably mention that. Anyways, no winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $39 million jackpot, or $25.3 million cash payout. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this lovely world of ours as we are speaking here. Do we do it now? I think we should. Let's go ahead and have Johnny Smalls give us the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Brandon. Mother Teresa said, "Peace begins with a smile." I love this. I think many people are in a bad mood because they're surrounded by people who look like they're in a bad mood. A simple smile can change someone's day. A bunch of simple smiles can change their whole world. Sadly, when COVID hit, I was afraid that we would no longer be able to see the simple facial cue called a smile. It seems pretty minor, but a world without smiles is a pretty sad world. I believe it's important to smile. I think it's important to strive to make other people smile along the way as well. Try it out today. Smile, and try to make other people smile. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alasamorgan.com. In today's world, we tend to consume information at a very fast pace, be it news, social media, miscellaneous Google search, and so on. All of this may make it more difficult for us to retain things when trying to learn something new. Here are 3 simple techniques to improve your ability to retain new information. First, try to consume information that you would like to remember before going to sleep. The brain works in a way of consolidation, and having less external factors allows your brain to defragment and file information much easier. Second, studies have shown that visualizing what you are reading or listening to may improve retention up to 75%. And third, approach what you are learning through questions and actually analyze the information through asking yourself about the material you are learning. For additional information, check out alasamorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
This information has been brought to you by the Exegesis. What? Hold on. What did you just say? Anyways, 51 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely, lovely Tuesday. Yes, that is for sure. Anyways, let's talk about this. Drivers are choosing to drive while tank is empty. What? Apparently, driving while on empty is becoming a trend among drivers during the time of record high prices. Let's talk to Roel Ballon about what's going on.
The California Highway Patrol Office in Stockton posted a message on Facebook warning drivers who are choosing to buy less gas. They said more people are calling them asking for help after they run out. The office said it can lead to serious danger and can end up costing more because of tow truck fees people would pay after they get stuck on the road. CHP said their advice is to plan ahead. Roel Ballon, NBC News Radio.
So explain that to me. You're driving until you run out of fuel and then you're calling a tow truck? That sounds like a terrible idea. No, seriously, it does sound like a terrible idea. Why would you do that? Anyways, let's talk about this. Questioning begins today for the SCOTUS nominee. Do you know what that means? Let's talk about it. In day 2 of the confirmation hearing, the first black woman nominated to the Supreme Court, NBC's Bree Jackson has some more information.
Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson stepping into the hot seat today after making her case to become the first black woman on the Supreme Court.
To inspire future generations and to ensure liberty and justice.
Okay, questioning begins this morning and will continue tomorrow for Brown Jackson. Then on Thursday, the Senate committee can ask questions of the American Bar Association and other outside witnesses. Yesterday, Jackson addressed senators after an opening statement in pledging to view cases from a neutral, independent perspective. So there you go. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure right there going on about what is happening inside of there. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. A 7-year-old glazed by a bullet in Brooklyn. Police are searching for a gunman who fired off a bullet that grazed a 7-year-old girl standing with her mother in a Brooklyn intersection on Monday.
The girl is in the hospital in stable condition. Cops believe the gunman, who was in a car, was likely aiming for someone else in Coney Island Monday afternoon. He has not been found. The gunfire comes as the NYPD is deploying more of those safety teams to the streets following a really violent weekend where there were at least 26 shootings across all 5 boroughs. Noam Layden, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Noam Layden, for letting us know what exactly is going on right there, because those things are always important. Anyways, it is 54 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk about some things going on real quick. If you are looking at some things that happened back on this date, let's talk about it real quick. 2007, News Corp and NBC Universal ink a deal that would later spawn Hulu. NBC had been putting content on YouTube but was not able to effectively monetize, realizing the needs of the business model that would allow easy access to the network programming online while generating a profit. Network exclusives were looking for ways to achieve old programs and broadcast new ones online. The result became Hulu. Boy, have things changed since then. Let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. J.J. Watt turns 33. Let's see. Dave Putney turns 45. Reese Witherspoon, 46. Keegan Michael Key turns 51. Rick Harrison, 57. Matthew Bodine, 63. Andrew Lloyd Webber turns 74. And William Shatner turns 91 today. So there you go. If you're looking for some reasons to celebrate today, I got a couple of those for you today. National Bolivian Cream Day. National Goof Off Day. Hold on. I can goof off today? Maybe that's what I should do. Oh, that's what the show's for. National West Virginia Day. National American Diabetes Association Alert Day, National Ag Day, and National 3D Day. 3D Day. 3D Day. Okay, no, that's 3D is something else. Okay, so there you go. That's what's going on there. So those are some things that you can celebrate if you want to. Anyways, let's talk about did you know spring fever is real and physical conditions which commonly occur when sudden warm spells follows as long cold periods. When the temperature rises, the body needs to get rid of the heat. Thus, there is a dilation, an expansion of the blood so that the blood can be carried through the body surface where heat can be lost quickly. Some people experience energetic feeling when this happens due to the body's reaction to the great amount of internal work going on. So there you go. Some things that you probably did not know. Anyways, let's talk about some whack facts real quick. I got some of those for you. While spring always falls on either March 9th, 20th, or 21st, it hasn't arrived on March 21st since 2007, and it won't arrive again for another 82 years. That will be in 2103. Sunlight can trigger a cold sore breakout. The earliest pacemaker required a wall outlet. Researchers show that most of us spend 60% of conversations time talking about ourselves. That jumps up to 80% while chatting on social media. Facebook blue color is due to Mark Zuckerberg's color blindness. Blue is the color that he sees best. In Italy, there is a fountain that flows red wine 24 hours a day, free to everyone except for drunkards and loots. So there you go. So that's what we got. Anyways, here's you go. If you need a random joke for today, I got one of those for you. The closest to perfection most people will ever get is when they fill out a job application. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. Who do you know with a very interesting or unusual job, and what is it? If you need something for the water cooler, try this one. Question. Ordering this food on a first date increases your odds of a second date by 170%. What is it? I can't believe it's sushi. I really don't, but it is. The answer is sushi. How do you feel about that? Yeah, you have 100. I mean, if I would have known this when I was younger, I would have been ordering sushi all the time. At least that way I would have had a repeat date. You know what I'm saying there. Anyway, so there you go. We are almost at the end of this thing. I will be going over to Radio Big and doing some things over there if you want to come out, hang out, and do some things together. If not, I understand. I will be back tomorrow on this thing that we call the Rated R Safety Show. Seriously, I will. And we'll do some things there, and then do some things then, and then hang out, and do some other things, and then some things, and some things. Oh, too confusing, but you get the point. So you're more than welcome to come and hang out. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM, and that is the listener. Also, that's the greatest part about Radio Big as well, too. And thanks for the interactions that you do with us, because we can't do what we do without you. That is for sure. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Not all those who wander are lost. Boy, does that mean more and more today than what it ever has before in my life. That's a whole other story. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.